Sauropods from South America. Hello guys again, we're here with another tier list, this time about sauropods. So I was thinking about doing this video and I didn't see like a better way to do it than this, because the way sauropods are, there's like one or two, three groups that have like most sauropods, and when I say a ton, they have like a ton of genuses. So I said, you know what, let's find another way to do this. And I figured the best way is to rank each sauropod from like every continent. We're gonna do it that way. I think that's way easier, and it narrows down the list like by quite a lot, because the amount of sauropods from, I don't know, Titanosaurs, it's insane. There's too many, and I don't want to do like a bunch of Titanosaurs that look basically the same, because that's what Titanosaurs are. And yeah, I think this is the best way to do it, going by each continent. And each continent has like a good amount of mix of different types, different groups. So I think I'll do it better this way. So let's start a video with Aeolosaurus. We're going to start with Aeolosaurus, a fairly obscure animal, I want to say, since I don't see it very often named in sauropod discussions. But we actually do know quite a bit about Aeolosaurus. We have a couple specimens, and we have two species. The thing with Aeolosaurus is it's not very talked about, since for a sauropod is fairly standard. Like, the craziest thing I could find about this guy is that its tail has like a really steep like dropping. So I don't know, like it still does like a little waterfall effect towards the ground, and that's basically it. I mean, we do know it's a Titanosaur, so it was fairly big, not too big though. And for like crazy features, it's not doing very good, especially knowing what comes next. I think Aeolosaurus is gonna take oh boy, I think it's taking C tier. Yeah, it's very underwhelming. Dreadnoughtus. So we're talking about cool names. I mean, the one that knows no fear, Dreadnoughtus. So you probably heard about this guy in either Jurassic World, I want to say. It's been heavily portrayed in this franchise. However, the Chads know Dreadnoughtus from Prehistoric Planet, the most recent show, and the fact that it's a contender for one of the biggest Titanosaurs ever discovered. The thing with Dreadnoughtus is it's a rarity between Titanosaurs, since we don't really get a lot of fossils from them. You know, they're fairly incomplete, very, very fragmentary. But Dreadnoughtus found a couple specimens, and one of them is like almost complete. We have most of the body, limbs, tail, and one cervical vertebrae. That's it, neck vertebrae. And you know, it suffers the same problem with other Titanosaurs, which is their heads are like missing. I don't know if like scavengers, you know, their heads must be delicious, because that's the one thing that is always missing from them. So I want to say Dreadnoughtus, one of the biggest ones, estimated at like 80 feet. Very, very heavy as well, and like 60 tons. Now we're talking about big boys. So Dreadnoughtus, great name, and it's from the Bajo Colorado formation. That's that's a thing. Also, every Titanosaur we're gonna talk about, I think almost every single one, is from Argentina. I say South American sauropods. This just might be the Argentinian sauropods. That's just how crazy the dick sites are over there. So Dreadnoughtus, I'm gonna go A tier. Yeah, Dreadnoughtus A tier. It's a sick ass name. Saltasaurus. I'm gonna go right ahead with Saltasaurus, known from the Salta formation. No, Salta formation. No, It's from Salta, Argentina. So Saltasaurus, very well-known sauropod as well. The namesake for Saltasaurini, or Saltasauridae, a subgroup between sauropods. And Saltasaurus is very important. Very important because it was the first sauropod known with osteoderms. And what I mean osteoderms is these bone-like cores that they had throughout their backs or body, and that serve basically as a little bit like armor. I don't want to say armor like Aeolosaurus, but definitely did serve some type of protection. I want to say specifically for the subadults and juveniles. Although I don't know how much that would have worked against, huge-ass theropods, but, it probably served some type of protection. They did have a couple of those, like a couple different types of osteoderms. They had like the conical ones, which were like little spikes, and they had more ossicle ones, which are like little pentagons that were smaller, and they were probably more numerous than the other ones. So Saltasaurus is very important because of that. It was very small, like smaller than other sauropods especially from Argentina. One of the coolest things about it is that we found in Aucamahuevo, that's one of the formations that we talked about in the Aeolosaurus video, we found a huge site where there was a ton of nests, and with eggs as well. Those eggs had probably drowned in a flood, and they were preserved with their embryos inside, which is insane. So we actually know quite a bit about sauropod eggs and embryos because of Saltasaurus. Ripped those little eggs, and they died for science. So Saltasaurus is gonna go straight into B tier. Nothing insanely crazy, but it's very important. Bajadasaurus. Gonna go right ahead and talk about Bajadasaurus, one of the craziest looking sauropods ever. And I'm gonna show you in the model right in a short moment. But Bajadasaurus comes of it's in the group of the Dicraeosaurids, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Dicraeosaurids, yes. Which are characteristic for shortish necks, for sauropods though. They still have long necks, but shorter necks than most sauropods, and long tails, very long tails. Those are whip-like tails, kind of like diplodocoids, which are sister taxa to them. So you would think, oh, okay, so they're short-necked, long tails. What's crazy about them? They're certainly not as big as Titanosaurs, but they might have a little feature that you might have known. Yes, those things. So Bajadasaurus and another member that we're going to talk about it in a short moment. Bajadasaurus just have these crazy neural spines protruding from its neck. You might be thinking, what are those for? Well, we didn't know for a long time. And these are some crazy looking neural spines. Not a lot of, I can't think of an animal on top of my head that has this nowadays. But as you can see right here, this is one of the reconstructions that we had for Bajadasaurus, and these crazy neural spines. These ones are essentially like spikes going from the neck, covered in probably keratin, and they're probably for display. However, not quite like this. These ones work more like armor or like defensive mechanism, which is not very likely because they're protruding like in front and from the top of your neck. So I don't know how efficient that is for attacking someone or something. Probably interspecies combat, but that doesn't seem likely as well, since we did some analysis well, not we. Well, me, because I'm a paleontologist, but they did a lot of studies on the actual neural spines. Not a Bajadasaurus, but another genus that we're going to be talking about. However, Bajadasaurus is pretty insane, pretty crazy, as you can see. And I think we're going to go right ahead and put Bajadasaurus in A tier. Amargasaurus. And yes, we come to one of the most well-known sauropods from anywhere, honestly. So Amargasaurus is a medium-sized sauropod, kind of like Bajadasaurus. But I'm going to show you with Amargasaurus what was probably the correct depiction for those huge neural spines. And it's a veil that you see right here. This one does have the tips protruding out, which was probably not true. It was probably covering the whole neural spines. However, I think this is a good representation of it. Also, I love this figure. You can see the long tail and the shorter neck. And what you can see right away is that these veils were probably used more for display. So you can probably, throw guesses, speculate about what we're doing with those veils. Probably showing off to other mates, and showing off to other rivals, who has the prettier or more badass looking veil. Or there could be some crazy colors and, deter some predators from attacking you. So Amargasaurus is an insane dinosaur. Also, am I the only one that thought that Amargasaurus lived with Carnotaurus? Is that just a paleoart myth? I mean, it is a paleoart myth because they didn't live together, but they perpetrated that lie, and I am mad about that. However, I'm not gonna take it from Amargasaurus. It's gonna be an S tier, yeah. It's so cool, Amargasaurus. You might be thinking, but Bajadasaurus is the same thing. No, it's not. Brachytrachelophan, or whatever you want to call it, Brachytrachelophan. Oh God, who named this thing? So Brachytrachelophan is a sauropod from South America. Might be thinking, I know I'm saying that a lot. Might be thinking, what is weird with this thing? Have you seen it? What the heck is this? What was evolution thinking? So, as you can see, it's a backwards sauropod. It does not have a neck. It did not go to neck day. He skipped neck day. So, you can see the long ass tail. So, it's from the same, family of Amargasaurus. Oh my God. Dicraeosaurids. You can see the long ass tail, but the neck is just getting shorter. It's just getting even shorter. By this point, I don't know what kind of evolutionary advantage you get from this. But paleontologists are saying that it probably filled a niche left by iguanodonts and hadrosaurs that were not very present on the southern hemisphere. So they probably, did all the low browsing, with their shorter necks. They didn't have to, go very high. So they probably stayed very low. It's such a weird animal. I kind of like it because of that. But I'm not going to be a lot of points because it's not very threatening either. Predators probably had a field day with this guys, but I'm not very sure. It's very funny though, so I'm gonna go straight into B tier for Brachytrachelophan. Argentinosaurus. Yes, I have an 8-pound Argentinosaurus figure in my house. Fight me. I will fight you with this. But no, Argentinosaurus, one of the biggest dinosaurs, things to ever live. Right in the flesh. But no, in all fairness, this thing is like so heavy. Oh my God. Argentinosaurus, it needs no introduction. One of the largest animals to ever live. Titanosaur from Argentina, the Huinco Formation. It's insane. This thing, it weighed like 80 tons. You don't know how much 80 tons is? Just look how much 80 tons is. It's insane how this thing could even walk the earth. Let alone what was gonna predate this thing. What is gonna actually try to kill this thing? This thing is unkillable. At least the adults. But you know, you gotta get to adulthood. So Argentinosaurus, we don't have a ton of material from it. We have like some pelvic bones and leg bones, like the hind limbs, and some vertebrae. That's it. However, only that is it just telling paleontologists how insanely huge this thing is. It's so big. It's been debated. Like almost 2 to 3 years it's debated. Like how much this thing, what is the length of this thing? Which is insane because it goes from, I don't know, 80 feet to like 115 feet, which is crazy for an animal of this size to be, you know, walking around and strolling. It actually, we do know from the formation that it lived with Mapusaurus, which is coming for the Carcharodontosaurus video. But Argentinosaurus, it lived with this huge ass Carcharodontosaurus, and you're like, oh my god, those things are so scary. No, this thing only being there, just standing, nobody's gonna mess with it. It's such a cool animal, not only because it's huge, but because, you know, it has the titanosaur body plan, you know, very erect. Yes, erect looking neck, as you can see right here. It's insane. It probably had those osteoderms on the back as well, the both that I talked about, the ossicle ones and the spiked ones. Oh my god, this thing is too heavy. I can't do this. It's insane. Argentinosaurus is insane. And we're gonna go straight into S tier. Yes, fight me. Argentinosaurus is the coolest dinosaur. Not the coolest dinosaur, but it's awesome. So that's gonna be your South American sauropod tier list. Let me know if you want the other continents as well. Of course, I'm gonna do them. And South America has a great selection of sauropods. Very diverse, as you can see. We saw veils, we saw spikes, we saw no necks, and we saw the biggest necks. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys. Subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. Thank you so much.